Great evening, great evening. So, another time to come together for Free Mind Talk. That is something that we try to do at least once a month. It may increase. Really, to any that are logged in, we're thankful and grateful for any that will log in on this evening. Free Mind Talk. Without any further interruptions, we're going to go ahead and get started with prayer. Hope you had a great day.
Amen.
Most High God, we thank you for this day. We're thankful for all things that transpired within it. Thankful and grateful for this consecrated Western Community Fellowship family here and far. Thankful for the great prayers that are going on. Continue. It is our prayers, and if any come in on tonight, that they will make it safely. As we embark on Freedom Mind the Talk, let us be able to share wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That someone be edified, someone be strengthened, someone be encouraged as we continue to walk in all day purpose to do those things that will cause things to be better and greater. All things being made clear. And we also, as we always ask, and we always request that nothing be done for vain glory in our lives as we continue to prosper, being healthy, even as our souls prosper. We're thankful and grateful for yet this is yet another great opportunity. I share it with you, man.
Amen.
All right, yeah, this is we try to do freedom mind the talk once a month. This gives people opportunity to ask questions, to address topics that are normally not addressed in the organized setting. And also gives us a chance to share, to uh, enlighten. If we can, we get started. If someone wants to testify that is here, anyone want to share a testimony while we're getting started here?
Amen. I thank the Most High for being back in the house one more time for the ancestors and elders and the Holy Ghost. Just grateful for a productive work week, making it through, and being back for the truth once again. Ashe. Ashe.
So, mhm.
Just grateful to be back once again. Thankful, Most High ancestors. Thankful leading um, in direction that sometimes you just don't know the way to go, but you it's like different things that happen that opens up other things, and you're like, oh, that's what I need to do. So I'm grateful for that today for not settling for one avenue, but going to another avenue so that um I'll be able to get some money. So I appreciate that today. I'm thankful for um a settling because I needed some things to work out in my mind, and I got peace about some things on today. It wasn't yesterday, but it was today. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm looking forward to new things and better things, and being able to um, take the teaching and the truth that we get in and continue to add it to our lives, that we may go forth and do what we're supposed to do while we are here. I should.
All right, as we normally try to do, first of all, I want to see if anyone logged in with us yet.
Yes, but I'm not sure who they are.
That's awesome. Bless you for logging in with us for your mind and talk. This is a time when people can ask questions, people can elaborate on different subjects and different things, views, and we're here to edify and strengthen and minister to one another. From the consecrated rest community and the Soul Worldwide Ministries, where one service can change your entire life. Uh, does anyone have something in particular they may want to address or ask or share at this time, it is welcome that's why we do free about the topic. Also want to encourage any and all for the first time to become a subscriber as we are working on a schedule for our YouTube channel to have great programs from everything from health to finance to spirituality to we're just gonna try to cover a lot of things to bless people's lives. So this time we want to have anything we want to address or topic or subject. This will be the time to start it off.
I have, I don't know if it's a question or comment, but, um, it was brought to my attention, about, we don't have to, deal with the word sin, but there is still moral compass that should be about us. I
We don't
don't,
have to deal with the word sin.
well, what I'm saying is, how people call everything was a sin. You said what you're being saved from. I'm saved from sin, right?
Oh, okay. All right. I got it. Go ahead.
And so, instead of that, we're, thinking about that in that light, there's still a moral compass. But the questions that's being asked is now, what's right and what's wrong? What's the difference? If I'm free to do certain things and it's not sin, then why is it looked upon as something wrong? And one of the things was, I said, I think there should be a moral compass about you. Am I right or wrong about that? Or
Well, first of all, people that ask you that type question are people that were doing wrong even when they were supposed to be right. When people ask you that type of question, they were contemplating things all along. And they also were doing things that were not necessarily viewed as right. The thing that's bad about it is even in the religious setting, they talk about what's right, what's wrong, but all we hear is a bunch of wrong things done. And even many things are misconstrued. They took the word sin and made it something to utilize at their leisure. And when you look up the word sinner and you look up the word sin, you find a discrepancy in how it's used and the tactics that are used to enforce it. But let me say again, when people start asking and you're dealing with someone that wasn't doing right anyway. Because when somebody, listen, religious settings should not be your measuring stick on right and wrong. Because people that have never set foot in an organized religious place know right from wrong better than some people that say they are quote unquote saved. So for someone to ask you that, they're telling you they didn't have it together in the first place. What's right, what's wrong? You see, this program and this control, it follows you. It follows you. You don't need somebody to tell you it's right to eat. It's kind of bad that people search to find out what can I do, what can I not do, when you should know better anyway. When we talk about the moral compass, that's another whole conversation because some people don't even know what a moral compass is, and that's not a disrespect, that's just a fact. There's some issues and some things that are not expressed and spoken about extensively in some of the settings because there is there's an agenda of control involved in it. People don't want to admit it, but it is. So for someone to even ask you that, then they have it together in the first place.
no,
You know.
they don't. They well, several that have said something, but they don't have it together. They say they're trying to get it together.
So what were they doing when they said they were saved? That's my see my point.
Yeah,
See my point?
yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you where you hear that all the time. You have people standing up in the pulpit that's supposed to be doing stuff morally correct that use the excuse God's still working on me.
Right.
Go on and finish with me. You came out of the room and finished. What you talking about? See, we have these excuses, and I told you, really, things are really messed up. I don't mean that, I'm not trying to be funny, I'm telling the truth. Because the people, it's like people were waiting for the next thing to take them further down the rabbit hole of where are my outlets and excuses. Well, this, and that. You didn't have it together in the first place. And I know some of who you talking about. I mean, it's kind of aggravating to have people tell on themselves. That lets you know they didn't have it together when they were supposedly having it together. That lets you know they didn't understand it correctly when they were supposed to understand it correctly. So anybody who take the time to want to ask me that kind of question, they didn't have it together in the first place. And I'm trying to get it together.
Trying to do it right.
No, but what did you have right before? Free your mind. Free your mind. You can't keep wanting a leash on your neck. Free your mind. If you do something that is wrong and you say is right for you, you're the one that decided that this thing that was really morally wrong. You're the one that decided that it's right for you. You don't need nobody to come so you can blame stuff on them, but they have to tell you that it's their fault when it don't go right for you. It's a shame. And see, a lot of people are mad and upset when someone speaks truth while speaking it. But the bottom line is this. You know, when we finally find out that we need to free ourselves, we shouldn't want to free ourselves, be malicious and reckless and try to conjure up how many wrong things can I do? Man, I should have been doing these wrong things all along. That's not what it sounds. Sound like premeditated mess. Because the word sin and the word sin has been misconstrued for years. I find it funny how people are saying they're supposed to be free from sin, when the ones that's preaching on sin still in what you call sin, and still practicing what you call sin, and covering up for the people that's still in what you would call sin. I find it real funny how that happens. You have anybody just argue?
No, sir, not yet.
So was that helpful?
Yes.
I appreciate you for your uh, question there. But when people come at you like that, trust and believe they're already doing stuff that's considered wrong anyway. But it was all right for them because they want you to say what's all right so they can say you said. No, they need to have a moral compass and they need to have a concept of right and wrong. If you want to go out and do a bunch of wrong because you want to use and hide behind something that's right and use it as a cloak of maliciousness, that's just what you're gonna do. That's just how you decide to be. You can't want to use other people as a scapegoat just in case something goes haywire. Anything else? Anybody from the live comment or ask a question? Because I hope to have this more than once and have phone lines, people who call in. And I want to help people. I want people to be free with being able to ask questions, being able to talk, being able to elaborate on different subjects. You know, um, I had something I wanted to say, but I want people to realize this is not a monopoly. This is where everyone is free to speak and free to inquire. And, anybody else?
Um, I didn't get to hear the question first came in. So someone asked you, it was something about trying to get it right, or if someone spoke. The word sin. Yeah. And I was saying how I think how they put sin into, since we don't have that word to use, since we know,
Since when do we not have that word to use?
well, what we say, we sin, what the sin, what we save from, that part.
That's what happens when people don't come when they should be here.
I, listen, I told you.
That's what happens.
I told you.
And for us to take time on it tonight and they're not here is a discredit to the purpose for why we're here. You see, as the days go by, um, I'm getting more agitated with some people because they're going around in a circle. I'm going forward. You know, they need to go where they're going around. So I'm not going to keep going back and forth on the same stuff because all they're doing is telling me themselves. Because you were in something that you were supposedly saved from wrongdoing. For you to do like some people are doing now, they were doing wrong all the time. Stuff is called wrong, they were doing wrong all the time. And that's typical. That's nothing to be mad or shocked about because people have a crutch and they had an excuse and they had some deductive reasoning that was given to them to justify doing wrong. So, I mean, to keep going back and forth, I'd rather deal with new people that are dealing with that, not people that should have received information, should have grasped information, took it for granted, and now they want you to keep going backwards and forward. I'm not going to do that. If they've been here and they didn't take advantage, tell them to go back and watch the videos. And tell them to look it up. Because some people are looking for reasons to justify the fact that they were struggling in the first place. You know, unfortunately, some people need to just be honest and say how they really want to be and what they really want to do. Won't be no love notes. Because I guarantee you, some of the people that are high up with titles and with position and with them in place, I guarantee you they're doing the same things that they're planning to do. They're just trying to figure out how to get around somebody they can see. It's very simple. Just give them up. See, that's the easy fix.
Okay, I wanna, cause when she was talking, see someone asked a question who supposed to know, but, uh, a passage of scripture came to my mind. Cause I heard what you were saying, but I wanna read this a little bit, cause, you can elaborate, cause I know it's gonna be somebody that probably, hope somebody that don't know, that wanna know, and some of the ones that do know, and just don't do right, and talking for those, but Apostle, you address this because this is something I saw. And it said this. I'm gonna go to James 4 verse 15, and it says this: For that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that. Verse 16 say, but now you rejoice in your boasting. All such rejoicing is evil. But what still got me 17 said, therefore to him that knoweth to do good and do it not, to him it is sin. We now know, that that's not what it meant, but we do, I think we already went over the definition of sin, what may be. But when someone who locked in a system that I say that are, doing it, all they know to do, was trying to do good or whatever. But, um, but it says, cause I could have went up a little farther, but that right there, that 17 says to him that therefore know not to, therefore to him that knoweth to do good and do it not, to him it is sin. But we know, like say, if somebody don't do good, not it's not, say it's not saying sin, but here it is in his book saying that that if you know to do good and you do not, it is to him it is sin.
Yeah. See that's why this is the hardest thing I have to do in my life. Because I feel by myself. Because first of all, that was put in there. And they had to put that in there because of the existence of the slave power. Now, a lot of preachers and teachers and these big shots and these intelligent folks, and folk think I'm throwing off on the smart people. No, I'm just as smart as you are. You just don't know it. I don't care what terms you use and how smart and intelligent you think you are. I'll piss on your little education real quickly if you try to make me look stupid. Because one thing I was made for and prepared for is to have the folk that look down on people because they think they're so much smarter than everybody. It's just a matter of time for you to come at me the wrong way. I'm sure you're smarter than you think I am. But I feel alone because this was put in there because of the existence of the slave Bible. And now that the slave Bible was losing its strength because there was no more slavery, but they still wanted the plantation mentality. This gives strength to the plantation mentality because if I was on the plantation and all of my concepts came from the plantation, now I still got to rely on you to tell me what's good.
Right.
Because my concept of what's good and what's not is thrown off because it was always controlled. You know, so a lot of get mad when you hear this. You get mad all day. I didn't make myself. I didn't teach myself. I promise you, I ain't got like that. But I'm not against education. I'm educated. But I don't like people that use it to look down on people or belittle people. It's just a matter of time if I catch you and make you look stupid so you can see how people feel when you act like they don't know nothing. And I ain't against preachers, I'm a preacher. I ain't against nobody. But I'm trying to defend and help people because people get accosted and get intimidated by some of these folk with these titles. You know, some of these folk that got these titles that haven't been given in the first place. And I tell them that in my face. Reason being, some people forgot about the human part. They were just after controlling people, but they don't know how to treat people. You know, so what we're talking about now is it's really a shame because it's a good thing you brought that up because people were told what was good, told what was bad. Well, according to the Bible, and someone might log down on this, according to the Bible and the narrative in the New Testament, it became good to be against your mother and your father, your sister and your brother. Your wife will need me because when people get what they call saved, the first thing they do, it's not father looking down on folk that's not a part of their religious clique or religious cult. That's one of the first things they do. So that's the problem. You still in control because now you're free. But wait a minute, what's good and what's bad? That's why I keep telling you, free your mind. Free your mind. Because I know this is unsettling, but look, this is free your mind to talk. You know, a lot of things they were telling us not to do, they were doing. A lot of things they were telling us not to say, they were saying. Some of the sweetest ones I've been around, some of the most closest to the holy that I've been around, didn't know how to talk to people. Some of them had a bad attitude. Some of them had a nasty disposition. So what I looked at is I said, see, that's what happens when you want to be the controller, but don't want to be under any type of control. You see, it's a shame, and I talk the way I talk because I'm being honest, I want them to try me. I ain't getting all the stuff you talk. I wait till you finish, then I'll get you with simplicity. I don't need all the complications. I know all the complications just like you do. See, I wouldn't just sit there and work on people. I pick their brain. I didn't just sit and work with the surgeon. I pick the surgeon's brain. I didn't just work with the psychiatrist. I picked the psychiatrist's brain, the mechanic's brain, the technician's brain. I wanted to know stuff. So I didn't have to go to a city. I was in the midst of those that already did. We don't like to share because people like to be smart dominant. That's what I call them. They smart, so they won't dominate. That's what happens in church. They went to the seminary. You did. They went to the Bible college. You did. They're in an organization that emphasize teaching. You know, like some denominations, all you gotta do is say Lord college. I'm gonna get cussed out one day. Some of the most unversed people are in the book. Every denomination ain't the same. Like AME, you going to school. You can say Lord call you all you want to. You ain't getting up there, you going to school. Methodist, you going to school. United Methodist, you going to school. But United Methodist will throw you out there before you know what you're doing. They're helping that. See, this what you brought up is a good thing because that's what messes people up. We get to where we say, okay, I'm free. I'm free. But people say, keep some of the change. Why? No, I need to understand the change so I can deduce things for myself. I need to be able to be a conscious, plausible individual for myself. I don't need to hide behind a concept, hide behind characters, hide behind narratives. No, if it's wrong for me, I need to say it's wrong for me because some people, you're wrong is their wrong. Everybody in here tonight would agree that uh, um, this group in here, we would say that an adult man ain't got no business messing with a little child, right?
Right.
When we can be in another group where they say that's what we do. If they old enough, they're good. It would be upsetting and sickening to us, but not to them. That's like they attack people for everything. But you got a Bible that says don't do that. Isn't it funny that the time that it said rebuke them sharply, isn't it funny it was talking about rebuking another religious group? It wasn't talking about going out there rebuking other people. It was talking about rebuking another group. That's exactly it said rebuke them sharply. Isn't it funny that when it said that it was talking about another religious group rebuking another religious group? It ain't what the Bible said, well, why would one of their own, a prophet, say that they were slow business? Oh, I know what's in there, page, word for word. Now, it just don't control me like it controls other folks. That's exactly what it says. One of their own prophets says, we're slow at this. So we have so much happening now, whether we know it or not, that next wave is pushing some stuff out. But it's also pulling some stuff and leaving it behind. Everything will continuously ride the wave. There's new standards being set. There's some things happening now that people are not paying attention to because they're too busy still trying to be religious and still trying to please something that ain't ever gonna be pleased with. We have a thing about us, but we secretly have a thing about us, but we don't want to find no fault in ourselves. We don't want things wrong. I gotta have this right, I gotta do this right. Nothing wrong with that. You shouldn't want to walk around with being ever. But know this, everybody knows something. So for somebody to approach you about they don't know this, they don't know that. Well, what were you when you were posing as knowing? Now we're seeing the real you, aren't we? Be careful who you tell what right and wrong is. Because when things go left, they're gonna blame you. They're gonna say that's what you see. I, 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 I keep forgetting the brother man, but he wrote the book, Let My People Think. And I'm gonna ride off of that and say, let the people think. I'm gonna just tell people, let the people think. You can share your idea without telling people your idea got to be theirs all the time. You know, there's a such thing called constructive criticism. So, I mean, this is a good thing John brought up, because that right there, what you read, that's why they had to have that emphasized, because the slave Bible still existed, but the impact and power of enslavement had lost its strength. So now you have to have something to make sure you still can maintain means of control. Now, I know a lot of denominations claim to be first, but the first organized denomination that reared its head when slavery ended was Methodist. It wasn't Baptist. Oh, you know what you're talking about? Yes, I do, because baptism and baptizing was taking place before slavery existed. Before there was the church, there was the cult, there were tribes. Uh, so Methodist came, and uh, the problem with that is you have two sets, and they saw where something was going a little better than they thought it was, so they combined them and called it the United Methodist Church. But if you look at the doctrine, especially in the South, the doctrine of the United Methodist Church has a mechanism of plantation living and control when it comes to a certain group of people. It's a fact. So where did other denominations come from? Are you kidding? So I'm not gonna call out any denomination. There are two in particular where you don't have to have any kind of education, no kind of knowledge, just let the Lord come. And when you're in that realm, people don't understand how stuff works. When you're in that setting, the stuff dictates to you from it. You're not gonna have no dream about cooking with the monks. You have a dream about being called to preach. You're not in the setting with the monks. You say, he crazy, you know, talking about, oh, really? Oh, boy. Think about it. Think about it. Doc, you mind?
I don't mind.
You don't weigh it.
No, not really.
You ain't got no limits at the fat phone.
No,
That's participant.
right.
That's my point. But if you stay there,
Hmm.
you're gonna either function as they do, or you're gonna be uncomfortable,
Right,
and your student don't leave.
right.
This is why people jump from place to place, denomination to denomination, group to group. You got some people that have been in all kind of different religions, all kind of different groups. I think the church world calls somebody like that a church hopper when they go to different sanctuaries. I call them a professional visitor. So what we talk about is great, because it's hard for you to know how to function when you never had it together with right and wrong. You know, it's hard. And I'm telling you, I'm thankful and grateful for what we're doing, because, you know, matter of fact, Doc, you ever had to help break somebody out that came fresh out of a cold?
They didn't call it that, but I called it that.
I'm telling you, y'all, I'm gonna tell you when I see the third time that I was involved. I'm telling you what I said. I leaned up against the wall, and I got away from everybody. I said, "You're too young for this." I really, it was hurting my head. I said, "You're too young for this. You are too young for this." When you have to deal with that, I'm telling you, it's not easy. It is not easy. And if you don't have that thing you call compassion and care, you'll be frustrated at times trying to help. It's not easy. So I hate to say this, but I'm saying we got people out there.
Oh, yes, and Minister Board and Mother just logged in.
Bless you, love you. I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, but whether we like it or not, whether we like it or not, you get a taste of it no matter what church you go to. You get a taste of it because there's an understanding that the other churches ain't better than ours. In religion, there's an understanding our God's the best God. In some religions, there's only one God. But you got a book that says there's more than one God. So we get a taste of it whether we like it or not, because you end up with do's and don'ts. Some of the don'ts ain't nowhere in the book. Some of the do's ain't nowhere in the book. You automatically take on an identity that separates you from others that are supposedly doing the same thing you're doing, just in a different building. One of the best things that ever happened to me, to be honest, was I shut up and learned how to listen. Couldn't listen until I learned how to shut up. I started learning so much. It really, it really blessed me. That's why somebody said, he don't be saying that. I ain't gonna say that. I learned how to shut up and take in. Because sometimes when it come out of my mouth, it sounds good, it sounds strong, but much to my chagrin, you end up finding out it don't fit what they talking about. You jump the gun and say, this is what they talking about. Now you end up saying, oh, that ain't what they talking about. So it's difficult, and we can't act like it's not. It's difficult. I mean, the transition from high school to college, one of the hardest things about that is now nobody gonna wake you up to make you go to class, make you go to school. Hmm? That's right. Nobody gonna badger you, tell you to go to bed. Get to bed. You know, it's a thing where if you're not really prepared for it, college will mess you up that first month. You have to get a grip. And also, I'm so glad you brought this up. The same way people say, oh, well, we don't treat our mind. Well, now I guess we can do this, we can do that. And I get, is this okay now? Or can I act this way now? When a person get on the college campus is real life, it can destroy them.
Yes, sir.
They are candidate to flunk out. It can destroy them. You can have a person that's secluded and they get in that environment. I hope they don't see this video. I can call it name. I was around a group of Muslim sisters, and they had to turn this on. And you know, they had it on. And I was learning from them and talking with them. I watched how the campus started consuming them. And one of the things that we're talking about is how they were prepared for some of the environment, but not all of it. Well, one by one, they start popping free. And you don't walk up on somebody like that and embarrass them with a ton of questions. But I realized, I said, see, this is man. You know, the high school I went to, with two different high schools, and getting on that college campus, man, I found out we didn't know what pep rally was. Man, I mean, it really, it's kind of like when people say, oh, we didn't figure out that. Oh, we ain't in the system, but you still act like you're in the system. And when you don't get the information you're supposed to get, like what we're doing now, when you don't come, the stuff is being shared, when you don't log in, when you don't watch the videos, you say stuff that ain't nothing, nowhere near what we're doing. You tell people stuff, we don't do that, and you don't even know. Or we don't say it, and you don't even know. We're not trying to look, not trying to be funny, but technology is giving you an advantage. I can't be there. But watch the video. Oh, I'm gonna watch the video, and then something comes up, and you say something, they say, that was on the video? Oh, so you didn't watch the video. Well, I guess I didn't watch that. Oh, you didn't watch that. You know, it's a thing where we have to focus and realize that religion has its place. But what it should never have had its place to do is control people. But religious leaders figured out that it can be used to control it. That's every religion, not just one. You got one in particular, they're more radical and more irate and violent than the rest of them, but they claim they're the ones who go evil. I get more lies and feedback and misconstrued stuff and attacks from folk that have not a clue what they're talking about, but yet they spew it out anyway. And the word sin interchanges in definition in the course of what we did. The word sin interchanges in definition in according to what preacher you're talking to. One thing I've never seen to be consistent in the church world is sin. Remember years ago, wine was right? Then all of a sudden, Jesus drank wine. But wait a minute, he didn't say take a little wine. Can somebody tell me what a little wine is? A little.
It's subjective.
Uh,
It's subjective.
that word never comes out. That word you just used, that would have cleared up a whole lot of misunderstandings and confusion. The word subjective. Now we know good well you got a jug of wine, that ain't a little. But it's subjective. But if somebody got a glass, ain't a little wine, how do you know? You might be dealing with a flesh. To them, that's a little. So it's subjective. That never came out. The preacher never even thought about using subjective. You know, everything start modifying itself to where you slowly saw the fact that a lot of the stuff that they saying is taboo is being practiced. You know, and it's sad. But now, what we're heading to now, man, oh man. But I promise you this, I'm not gonna be one of the ones to argue. You know what I mean? Because I don't need all that. When you finish, say a few words. No, no, they already hostile and got bad attitudes anyway. I ain't gonna help you. If you put yourself on the screen the wrong way, I'm just gonna sit there and look at you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we that's just like just that subject. That would have helped so much in so many places. Because you have people that join themselves to a place and they don't know everybody, but two people see them and know that they go to the same place and they got a beer in there. You know, drink that beer. And you know, that person said, well, Jesus drank wine. No, wait a minute now. We're going to have to ask the pastor about that. But they would say it. It's to the point where they would put out a group book called the character of wine. So there's some things that should have been clarified, should have been straightened out, should have been, but what's that word? We look at clarity. But the two just have church. Too busy enjoying the aura of the atmosphere of power and control to where all this got something. Because ain't nobody walked through no church world perfectly. Where they at? Where they at? I don't say that you don't know anything. They tell you everything about their life. Where they at? We can't get over it.
I think, when some really try to justify them drinking was because one of my things was they always use the first miracle they're supposed to have happened when Jesus for the wedding. And they ran out of wine
Come on, man.
and he went and, supposed to turn the water into wine and said, they asked the question, what's been on, because I guess it's supposed to been better than what they had, because he say the best for the last, whatever, but they use that a lot as well as for them doing whatever they want to do. But I want to elaborate a little bit back to what I was saying before. When I went up a little further in that, in James, it going back to what you're saying about control and have that plantation in mind, because it was not even on this, it would even allow them to think for themselves. Because if they said it, if they were gonna think, then wait a minute, you ain't supposed to say if it's the Lord will that we do that. So therefore it went back, saying, okay, we cannot do anything. We can't do anything without asking the Lord first. And then it went on down to say, to do this when it went on, like, you boasting now, and this and that, because I guess at that time, these people were supposed to be, like I said again, they said, we're gonna do this for a year, I think they were saying, whatever. But again, it going back, like I said, looking at it, and then they went on, so he wanted to make them feel again about, okay, well, if you know to do good, you don't, then you sin. So therefore, like again, going back to the trying to control, trying to have that plantation mentality to feel like we can't think for ourselves, and if we did, then you're wrong. Then that's sin because yeah, about control, and if you think, and that's why he threw that at the bottom, he had to put that in there because, like I said again, if he was trying to go back and okay, well, what you're supposed to do. That what you're supposed to, say. You're supposed to say, if it's the Lord will that we do for the month. So, like I said again, looking at it now, and I still say, a lot of time people, people know what right from wrong is, and I think a lot of times, sometimes, most times they either overlook it, but my thing is when they come to, like I said, us to ask, like, a certain question about, what they supposed to do and what they need to be doing, you should already know, because something in you, but this ain't right, this don't feel right or something. But like I said again, but most of the time people still have a way of trying to justify what they're doing, even when they're using this so-called Bible and certain things, because like I said again, when some preachers, don't even touch certain things that they're doing themselves. They'll tiptoe around everything else. And then put you back and especially one say, well, do as I say and not as I do. Okay, well, you're doing something that's a bit, because they do say that. You let me know then that you're not, but they'll tiptoe around whatever they want to tiptoe around and be doing whatever they want to do. And then come back for Sunday, Wednesday, where maybe, and try to tell and lead the people, but you living a regular life anyway. And then you're not even living up to what your standards are supposed to be in that Bible. I don't care what you went to, whatever, but you want to come back in and preach to the people. And more like I said, if you don't do this or do this and everything, you're going to hell. Or this is that, whatever, because they can do that real quick. They quick to say, what you is and not. But they're not living, they're living dirty life themselves. But again, it go like I just hear what you're saying a lot of times, because like I said, I think about that when you went, like you use that scenario about slave Bible and how they, because if something been put in you for so long, even just like them children supposed to be the children of Israel. Okay, when they went and said supposed to be free, and then they get out there and say, well, you know what, we probably going back over to the taskmaster because you know you left out her to die. So they still, so they still had their mind that they were better off back there and stuff like that. So it's about that control. It's all about, about the control or whatever. But yes, just listen, like I said, I came in, I heard you say it, and I was just I said, let me go back and see. I know there's somewhere in the Bible where it says something like that, but it goes back to, like I said, what you were saying and how that mind. And it's, and another thing too, and that's how some of the ones that's so in this thing, so locked in it. I mean,
It helps some people.
yeah, it helps us.
It does. Some of us, there were some good things that came into our life.
Yes.
And good principles, sound teaching. That's why I was telling somebody, the pros and cons. And I mentioned the plantation mentality that people get offended when I say it. Oh, I don't mean that the way they think. See, because there's also, just like in the scientific experiment, you got your control group. That's in church too. Psychology is on that church. I mean, look, there are so many things, but I kept saying you get me in trouble. Not because of what you say, because of what I'm going to say. Whether people like it or not, or want to accept it or not. Church, as we know, was designed to make you think you're free while you're really not. Whether we like it or not, that's the bottom line. And if we don't clean it up, that's how it's going to stay. Because they're forcing some younger people now to be the same raunchy way that they are. It's designed to make you think you're free when you're really not. It was designed to do that. That's what I don't see it that way. I understand you say you don't see it that way, but you're saying you're free, but you can't do nothing. But you gave your life to something. How you free? You're saying you're free, but you're saying I can't do nothing without it. You said you're free. Well, I'm gonna have to ask the Lord before I do that. Well, where's your freedom? You got to ask the Lord. Can you go down the street around the corner? But you ain't have to ask the Lord for you to get in something you have business. See what it does? See what I'm saying? Sure.
When you said that, I had a visual of something. You said, the slave mentality.
Yes.
And I'm looking at it in this light, and I see how church is with this, where you have the slaves that worked in the house, slaves that worked in the field, and those work in the field really get beat. They got to deal with the sun, they got to deal with working, deal with their body and all this other stuff. Not that the ones in the house don't have to deal with that, but it's like they had more preference. Things were a little bit better because they were in the house, or a little bit different, I guess, so to say. So when somebody talk about they want to be free, it's like it's easier for the ones in the field to say, yeah, I'm getting out of here. But then there's some that's in the house say, Master been good to us. And I hear people testify how the master has been so good to them, and how I ain't going away. I'm not gonna leave Jesus. He been good to me. I'm not saying you leave. I'm just saying you can't be free. I'm not gonna go. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not going back and sin. I'm not going back to I'm not leaving the Lord. That's been good to me.
Right.
And that's that same word. You know, even though they took away the slave Bible, but the same words, the master, the things that was controlling the slave at that time, to me, it's still being used from what you call the pastors and preachers, those in the, it's just that concept, but people are not seeing it's they can't see it like that. They see it as, well, I'm getting paid, it's a good job. One, on the job, I'm talking about the job. Um, the boss can be off, but my pay is good. I remember you ministering to my friend, I grew up with
Oh,
a
yeah.
long time ago, and you told him what to do. This is what was being spoken for his life, so it could be better since he's meant, his ministry. And he told you, I cannot leave my job.
No, he told you that.
He told you.
And he told you how much he paid.
Oh yeah, he
He
told you.
No, he told me how to strip the mic, stand there.
Oh, well,
I told
he
him
said how
what
much
he
money he made.
about God calling you do what you're doing. But how did that turn out?
Oh, he lost everything.
How did that turn out?
He lost everything.
Say that again.
He lost everything.
He lost everything because he thought something in the sky was just, I found out the hard way that what I was saying was giving it to me and where I got it from. I found out the hard way that how we operate, how we function, how we flow, ain't because of what they said that night. Ain't no way. If it is, then how come we doing stuff that ain't in there? And how come the way we do it, folk get envious of you and wonder why they can't do it that way?
Mm.
It's a matter of just accepting the truth. And listening to you talk, I came up with a term. Let's come up with a term. It's good. But I want to share something with you. I heard you say something about the house in the field. Let me tell you what they don't tell you. You know how somebody could be hanging around and separate themselves from you, and also they're better than you, and they're not part of you, and something happens to remind them they are part of you. But the house people, when they punish everyone, they punish them too. See, so that let them know, oh yeah, you're in the house, but you still want them. So they didn't let them get too far gone, you know. But in the church world, you can actually get too far gone, where your attitude and your mindset is you so much better than everybody, you know. And it's sad, but sometimes people have ended up in physical confrontations because of things like that. The pastor ain't there, and they tell you better than everybody. The pastor ain't there when you say it to the wrong person, they punch you in your face. The pastor will say they're the devil. You tell the pastor you started it. You provoked it. If you got a lion cornered, don't poke him. Don't poke him. I guarantee you, it will turn out well. So I was listening to you. It's a little kind I came up with it. I should say it, but I was listening to you talk, but they got harsh treatment. But even in that, what did they end up saying? Being good to us. At this point, not being good, but being good. So the being good is good enough to sustain me to accept the not so good at this time. I'll hold on to the being good when it's not good until the being good comes back. Somebody said this to me, and I'm fine with it. I don't get offended or get mad. Somebody said, you know what? When you say stuff, it don't make sense to the way people have been taught, the way people think, and stuff that people haven't accepted. But they said, when I sit down and I think about it later, it be right. I said, because it ain't all me. It ain't all me. I told y'all it's the hardest thing I ever had to do in my life. It is. And listening to you, I had a spectrum representative had me on the phone. And they were stunned, so shocked. And they didn't watch it, so I ain't gonna call their name, don't tell. They had it on the phone, and what they didn't realize is, I like using the automated because of how quick it is. And they had it on the phone over, this is true story, $5. But what they didn't know was, they represented Spectrum, but I knew their system better than him. If they're carrying over to the next year, if it's that small. And I already knew that. First it was $3, then it was $5. But they were so stunned and so sharp because it didn't bother me or make me wrong that I was on the phone with them. It made me mad, irate, it raised my voice. So at the end of the conversation, they said, "You have a good day. It was nice talking to you." I said, "Well, you too." But when they first got on there, it was this, they had their guard up. So they really dealt with some people that gave them attitude. See, just because you're part of something, don't mean you know everything. See, they didn't know. So I couldn't get mad and say, "Don't you know this thing?" No, I said, "Let them talk." Till they start. You know. So sometimes we have to understand this. When you have a purpose, and that's the problem in here. I say this all the time. Nobody takes the time to come together to walk in the purpose to accomplish the goals. You know. So now, take the good with the bad and fight to get it done. Because we gotta help somebody. Don't y'all think we gotta help somebody?
Right.
What we have is precious, it's vital. You know, we have people here that are capable of feeling irregular and they get right, listen to them and they feel great. And instead of people rejoicing, other religious places see that as competition. Why? It's not competition. We have a big fight on our hands because there's no concrete set order when it comes to right. Hmm? How many of you were part of, we all have been in church in the service, but clap your hands if you were part of an organization. All right. Clap your hands if they gave you a rule book when you joined.
Would it be,
A rule book.
would it be like the church bylaw or something, no?
Well, did they give you that?
Thing.
Did they put that in your hands? Copy of the bylaws.
Them people gave me something when I first, gave me something when I went down there. I can't remember what it was, but no, it was something,
I'm not trying to put nobody on blast. Can you tell us where it was?
don't free.
It was the bylaws. They give people a little handbook about the inner workings of the church and stuff,
Yeah.
the order of operation of the church. See, I ain't been in there.
That's
See,
what it was.
the posse don't know. People won't believe it. They were telling me what they gave me. And what it was to get you to fall in line with how they do things
Yes.
in Donkey Creek.
Yes, that's what it was. Thank you. Yes.
Sister Sheila and Ashley.
Once again, it's proven. I ain't about to say, and I told them. They just taught me how not to let people call themselves Christians. Not tell me this. They taught me don't even respond to me. They said that's not what this is for. That's not, no. You're not to be put on the spot. You're the spot remover. So they might tell me this, man. No, that's not what it's for. No, I'm show up like an almighty. I know the only one they, some of y'all, they gonna talk to you, but they share with you. In many ways. Some of you, the avenue that you try is to help people. If you ran into it, help you, it's to help people. You are not an incapable person. I promise you, every avenue you travel that's positive is to help people. Somewhere, somehow, you're gonna end up helping. That's what they get. Because Dunn Creek, they don't want you to have the bylaws. They want you to have bylaws because it takes their power away from acting all knowledgeable when something happens and they have to pull them out. They got a little group down there. They got a board. And the board supposed to meet in quarters, but they don't. They meet when they think they need to, or when something comes up. But they're supposed to meet in quarters. They split their quarters up. They got 4 quarters. Every 3 months, they supposed to meet. Now, I'm reading their bylaws while I'm sitting here. And the pastor can be the parliamentarian because the pastor is not a member. In the bylaws, it says so. Hey man, a while out. See, this is what people say when that's why I don't show this stuff. Get tired of people labeling it as something evil. You're not incapable people. We just need to understand there's some glitches that we run into, that we have to handle when we run into. And I'm talking about within us, and that happens. We just can't act like it's the end of the world when it takes place. Some people can handle and govern themselves and control their spirit and do things, and some people need pills. Pills have their place in some people. I'm sorry, they do. If you need something to cause the balance, and you can't break the balance, and they have something you can take to cause the balance, it has a necessary place. Oh, wait, take that. Wait a minute, you don't need it. Is it safe to say that there's some things you can take that person needs?
Cause some people,
So you have to stop making people feel bad because they need extra or they need help. The church got to quit calling them the spirits, the devil, the Satan. How can stuff ride your back if you're sleeping on it? See, these are the things that make them mad. They talk about me right now. I got a phone call from somebody from a long time, and they talk about me. It ain't making me mad. They gonna run me to the right now. It doesn't matter. They're not part of what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm gonna get it done. I ain't mad at nobody. I ain't mad at nobody. Sometimes people tell me, say, they must be mad. Nope. Nope. You took an extra breath, I'm gonna take a breath. No, I ain't mad at you. But we have we have an open thing that we do now. We have to talk, and I wish more would show up so they can talk, answer questions, express yourself. We're not stuck a lot into one topic when we do the talk because things are changing. Things are changing. Things are changing, and they're not changing by the week. Things are changing by the hour. I thought it was so sad. The lady that lost her life in Simpsonville, then rolled through the pulled in the game, and a nephew. I don't know if the nephew lived, they airlifted the nephew, but she lost her life at the scene. Um, I thought it was so sad that the church world took that tragedy to put their spin on it. God took her. It was her time. You just got the registration for the car. See, they didn't even know the whole story. I thought it was so sad. The concept, the stuff that we were fed, the stuff we were led to believe, the way we talk, it's not right. It's not right. I'm not out to get anybody. It's time to clean it up. That lady lost her life. And I don't know if the young man, I don't know if he lost his life. He's fighting for a critical condition. And they took that time. God just thought it was time. Nobody, if a loved one passed, nobody would think I said it to me. I don't care if they've been preaching, standing next to Methuselah, who never existed. Nobody did not say it. If they said it to me, that'll be the last time they ever say it to somebody. I ain't gonna fuss and argue with them. I'm gonna educate real quick. Real quick. You don't tell somebody God took them.
But there's a lot of things they say at the what's the name, the Lord give it and the Lord take it away. That's their
Well,
way.
that's what the Bible says.
That's their way of,
That's what they're about.
yeah, giving, I guess they feel like they're giving the double a sense of comfort, because that's what they use especially in that setting when a family, someone have, passed away, and that's what they tell them.
Okay, we got somebody that work with the brain and the mind daily. I, I don't do it on the daily, so I'm doing other leaders don't do it. No. There's a word I want to use here. And I want to use not a word, I guess it would be a phrase or something. When they do that, I like to call that, uh, I like to call that, uh, let me come up with something here. Because I'm listening, they say it so much. False acceptance of religious belief. Can we call it that? Because you got me believing this is what God wants. But I'm torn on that side. So could we follow that?
Maybe could.
False acceptance because of religious belief.
The clinical term is spiritual bypassing.
Now I ain't gonna use it because they jump on us so much with these folks, these videos. I could use it, but I ain't gonna use it. That's what I said, let me come up with a term. They jump on us. When we use stuff, man, y'all would not believe. I don't want to call no names, but there's a person in Columbia that y'all know that watch the videos and throw off on us, and they can't even talk straight. They be throwing off on us. And when I see him, only thing I'm going to ask him is, how you feel knowing that you don't know what you're talking about, but you're talking about people that know what they're talking about? That's what I want to ask that person. See, some things that I don't say because they jump all over us. It ain't what they think, it's the misrepresentation that they put out. That's why I was saying earlier, there's some people who come here that don't take advantage of the videos and they'll say stuff that we don't even say. They'll say stuff and they have people thinking that all of us, that's how all of us think, which is unfortunate. All we gotta do is watch the videos. So they make people accept this thing, but person is tore up. And believe it or not, there are people that are still breathing, that stuck it up and straighten it up to go in the place where they're going to something. Believe it or not. Because some people have endured being treated like dirt because their loved one, they pay their dues. And they gotta go in that place every Sunday because they still a member. Or getting mistreated because their loved one was in the hospital for 2 months before they passed. They give them time for 2 months, according to the record. So they mistreated them, didn't give them the full acknowledgement when their loved one passed, but they're still a member, so they fight going there. See, people want to deal with all this technical stuff. No, let's deal with reality, what really happened with people. And then the technical can come in to help us line this stuff up. But let's remember we're dealing with human beings. First of all, stop treating everything like an experiment. We already been experimenting long enough. We quit doing it to each other. Y'all, this God took them. I'm so tired of my colleagues. We need to stop telling people what God was thinking and how God works, because you know you're not. You are lying in the front. You don't know how God works. If you know how God works, we wouldn't have what we have in the White House. Not shush. Because you said God said every preacher that said that should be taught to no more. And all. They should follow their Bible. They should shave their head and get sackcloth and ashes. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Old Testament. Let me stop joking about this. But it's a shame. It's a shame that we have so much that is pushed on people. And because of how the atmosphere is, because of how the setting is, because they don't see it, they just take it. They just take it. I hope nobody from Jack was watching. The first time I heard cuss, my family, was, I think I told you, I stuck around for my first membership meeting. So I knew. So I asked somebody after the meeting, I said, excuse me, uh, is that how the meetings go? Oh, that's your first one. That was light. You're going to hear that and then some. They automatically knew what I was talking about. I said, oh, really? I said, oh, okay. How many meetings I went to on the day? That's my first one. How many meetings I went to after that?
One of them,
When they had the membership meeting.
one of them.
One of them.
Okay.
Only with the one other meeting after that. Not that I was appalled and all that kind of stuff. They said it get worse. So I'm like, what do you do? Punch people? Jump on somebody? I don't see that. I went to one other after that. So you want to remember, no, that wasn't it. When I missed the meeting, I knew it was quick. Because I was on the executive with her. She was president. She filled me in. I know how you do, so I'm going to tell you what went on. Thank you so much. She was the principal of the school, so she understood. But it's a shame that just like now, when the subject come up, we just talk about it. I mean, and nobody get mad, nothing else. I want to tell people on the line, ask your questions. Bring up the subject, bring up the topic. We're not mad at you. We got a little time left. Anybody say anything on the line?
They commented earlier about the topics that,
Oh, great, great. That's why we do it. Well, can we hear some of the comments?
Ash, Ashley said you're not walking in, not you, but like the people, church people are not walking in what they said they are talking. And then
All
she,
right, Miss, you gotta get up, sit down.
and she said, yes, she agrees about the church that Teresa mentioned and that they had classes. Melinda just said, right. And that's pretty much it. Not many comments, but
Well, I'm glad someone responded and felt it. We, and that's why we have the talk. It's, you know, I can't wait till someone gets the opportunity to like, call in, you know. That way y'all can interact with them, you know. I'm not gonna be able to interact with them. I mean, yeah. Anybody else, anyway, they would say, interject, ask, or elaborate on. Okay.
Well, I'm glad that we're able, like I said, again, to talk and have a discussion because a lot of times maybe someone will join in and have a question that, you know, that they may not know or need understanding of, and that we'll be able to help them with their answer because, like I said, again, just not one thing with, you know, talking many things. We haven't need to know or want better understanding or clarity on, then ask the question, you know, we're not here to jump on nobody, just to help, you know, just and to make, I think, to think, you know, to look at it from a different perspective of things, and then you can, how you want to take it up, you know, whatever you get with it, and maybe you get back later and then think about like, okay, that do make sense. But just giving, we're not attacking the Bible. We just, you know, we just think that we have now that we're awake or woke or, you know, or just see things different. Different. We're not awake or whatever.
I just tell people, I just tell people we free.
Free and see things
I
different
tell
ways.
them, they say, what are y'all? We free. I say, y'all left government. No. Who told you that? Nonsense. So y'all don't believe in Jesus? Everybody believe in Jesus.
You know, they probably say this. If you said, if they say, if we say we free, then they probably say, yeah, we free too. When we accept Jesus, we free of sin.
Listen,
Because that's what they say.
I
They free.
understand the concept.
you just said something that,
But look at all the students.
I'm sorry.
Look at, now, we go back to, look at who's in here. Do you not know people could benefit? They can call in, they can log in and ask questions. Look at the areas represented. Somebody can even call in and ask something about a song, about playing music. They can get a response. Something about them fighting with something going on with their mind. They can get a response. Something going on in their body, they can get a response. I'm just saying. Somebody saying, I'm trying to kill my loved one, and they telling me now, I gotta watch this something. I gotta turn them in tonight, but I don't know what they mean. They can get a response. See, that's why we do the talk. Some people, they didn't understand. It's well rounded. They get a response. And the thing that will shock them, every response won't come from them. That's right. That's why it's the talk. Go ahead.
You had just said something that came to mind that
Uh,
has sort of like solidified what has been said. You said, they said,
mhm,
we are, you know, you say we're free.
mhm.
They say, oh, so you done left God. So you mean tell me you bound because you with God and you not? Do you? Do you? I'm just listening. I'm listening to what you're saying. So you in chains and bound because you with God, but we say we free, so we don't let God. So it is. But you say
that's what that's one of the first things people say. Oh, they don't love God. Oh, they don't believe in Jesus. Oh, look, I would run circles around you with Jesus. Circles. Now, I know why it was created. You don't. Don't play with me. Stole that from me for a minute. My daughter said, don't play with me. I was circles around them with Jesus. They think they don't know Jesus. They say they believe in Jesus. They know Jesus. No, they don't. They'll find out they don't. They'll find out the hard way that they don't. We trying to see people be blessed. See, listen, all of us in here have prayed and wondered why none of them. Well, I could be wrong. If somebody said that, just anybody, is there anybody in here that never ran into a situation where you pray about something and you're like, wait a minute, why did that happen? We need more than it wasn't God's will. You know, so yeah, that kind of talk, that's what they immediately go on defense. You know, oh, so you love God, really? Also, you don't believe this. Also, y'all don't do this. No, I don't take communion. That's your faith ritual. Amen. But that where it came from, man, you no longer say, now, period. They had to interject it during one of the councils they were in, Council of Ephesus. I believe that's where they took on accepting and communion. Yeah. So, you know what? I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. Is there anybody here who would like to comment on that thing where they say we left God? Anybody?
That's people's way of hiding behind something they don't understand and refuse to look into and learn.
Oh,
We'll use a spiritual speech to justify ignorance
oh,
instead of taking the time to listen and learn.
wow.
That's why you had so many people calling stuff spirits and all
Mm,
that kind of stuff because they couldn't explain it any other way,
mm,
and they refused to learn
okay.
from somebody who did know.
Mm,
So that's just people's way of explaining it away because they don't know.
okay. Can we get a perspective from the younger representation?
Ashley come in and she said, we didn't leave God, we just left their version of what they believe God is.
Woo, 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 woo. That's from God. Mm. What would you say to somebody say, that's God?
I know it's not true. It's not just said to me. The way I kind of handle stuff like that now, I just wouldn't say it unless they just press the issue. Because there's nothing that even, yeah, there's no evidence of that. I'll say,
That's good.
and see that that's not true. I think it's really what some of me, like, let's be following. Some of them is they're either trying to figure out why nothing changed for the worst, or why, in some aspects of life, they see it. But I think that's just
Flesh and blood and not for the letter. Because you are 100% on point. Let me tell you something. Mother still on there?
I think so.
Ah, okay, I'm gonna say it anyway. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all know so many church folk, and some of them, we know them. Y'all know they still waiting on something to happen. Yeah, God will give it. We can earn go to some places that they'll never go. And this ministry is the most capable in this area. I'll say that from the mountaintop. It's just time to use it. It's the most capable in the area. Spirit wise, it's the most capable because what we end up doing is have to pray for most of them. They end up throwing up the bacon and stuff. Because they're not a mix in there. Anybody honest in here tonight? 2024, we started on this up until now. You mean to tell me you never had an incident where you felt like there was a battle going on in you?
Yes, we do.
Do you feel like that now? Well, something must have left. I wonder what that was. If they don't, you got to throw up encouraging on that for something to leave. And it wasn't no demon either. Never mind. He made a valid point, but they still waiting.
Oh, my God.
God gonna get it. God gonna kill it. Because I led y'all, I'm leading y'all the wrong way. You know? Oh, folk that have been around me said that. He leading the wrong way. Spend 5 minutes talking to me and then say,
Everybody talking.
5 minutes. They ain't gonna talk to me. They ain't gonna talk to me because that will rob them of the ability to say it behind my back.
Now, if that may be the case, I guarantee that half of them that's saying that ain't leading nobody. Okay, so why didn't it happen to them? Because I'm pretty sure those ones that they call themselves trying to lead ain't leading, and those that want that call themselves need to sit down somewhere because they're not living nothing either. They're not living and they're not leading. So how can they talk about what God gonna do to you if it ain't never been done to them?
They didn't talk to me. I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, like, you know, it's a saying. They say keep living because
Not everybody is saying.
well, come on for the ones that's have
Some
faith
don't even know us.
or saying it.
Yeah, we're them people. You know, now it's one, I ain't gonna call her name, that my wife see her all the time, and hear her like still one Bruno got to fight. You know, there's one that refers to us as them people. And but when she see my wife, as a matter of fact, she got a minister of sedition and sinister working with her that been some area. And in her face, they're one way, but behind her back, they're another. You know, but my problem is, when are we gonna wake up and see that something's wrong with it? When we gonna see that? I don't care what your denomination is. That's not the point. That's not the point. The point is we need reality to sink in. We need reality. You can't keep saying that it wasn't God's will when you watch your loved ones suffer and pass away in your face. That's not what happened. We can't keep wanting to use these excuses and these religious terms and spiritual stuff to just wash away what really happened. We gotta cut this out. Just like they had altar calls when people passed on, they think they really were doing something. That was short idiot. He did them a mess with young people up. How you gonna tell somebody all they need is at the altar when you ain't never at the altar? His little short, so what conceited behind that? And you don't be at the altar. Why you telling me everything at the altar? He's just conceited as it was when I met him. We need to quit playing these games. What we gonna do, we ain't playing no game. We trying to help people. And if somebody come in there trying to disrupt things, I'm gonna let it happen. Because they're only doing what they're programmed to do. What left you and stopped you from wrestling is what that wrestling is the programming is leaving you. That's what it is. Instead of second guessing yourself, you're getting to know yourself. It's leaving. And he said, how am I you could just turn so quick? I didn't turn. No, I didn't turn. And never turn from. I'm gonna say it again. It's the most capable ministry around me. But it's time to put it together and do it and use it. It is. You don't have to have capes to fly over the top of a building. And they overemphasize that and overstress that. I don't understand how you can be critically preach on some power you ain't got. And you ain't walking in. And try to discredit people that do. Because the power they mentioned in that book don't hold a stick to how it really is. You got churches out in Wazoo in Columbia, and all of them scared of that brother got that shop up there. And I ain't scared. Yeah. All of them scared of him. Some of them go to him. Some of them, his clients want to come. I ain't scared of him. I had somebody call me on the phone. This guy said, he can't help me. Cut his head out of the sky. I said, look, that little trying to scare people with spiritual power he ain't got, that don't work on. That work on from yesterday. That don't work on. Tell me what you do it then. If you can do that, then why that thing still in the wild? Go cut his head off in the spirit. We're not here to do that. He naturally didn't have it. Y'all know what don't poop Capone. Doesn't do that. You poop on yourself while you're doing speech in public, that's your they always tell about hurt people and cursing people. And God gonna get people. And God gonna kill people. And God, well, I thought God was love. God ain't gonna put some people. I thought about a friend. I woke up. Y'all, when I take cat naps, I'm telling y'all, I do not control that television. But when I take cat naps, what wake me up is something I need to see. There was a debate. I woke up to a debate about flat and round. And the flat line, whatever called, they mind got changed. That dude, his name was mad. He won him out. They changed their way of thinking. And I woke up and I thought about my friend and I said, man, he didn't see that. I mean, that dude won him out. And he was giving them fact after fact after fact. I was like, man, he's smart. So I wake up on stuff that I need to see. And I'm real, like I said, I feel like I'm by myself because I reached out to the leaders for how many of them came to me? That one that came to him came. How many of them came to me? And if we try to do something together, how am I going to hit him? I ain't even going to want to listen. So I feel like I'm by myself. So I appreciate y'all for the input. This was a good one. The talk. Joy doing the talk. We're gonna continue to do it once a month. And again, I'm gonna say, we trying to put some program together. Whatever you want to do, let me know. Let's put it on there. Let's schedule it. You know, so people that have some weekly programming from this ministry's YouTube channel It's a lot of invites. I don't care whether it's food, music, health. I mean, hey, uh, talk topics. I mean, we want to just build into the program so people can get used to being blessed and receiving from us here. So if you got something, man, hey, let's make it happen. Anything else for we adjourn? Yeah, we're still waiting. I ain't trying to make a joke, but you gotta leave the house, bro. Be in the house most of the time. Okay, and get ready to. Now, get ready. And I mean, I have a little something trying to get in the way of him. You know how to maneuver with that too. So, but yeah, they might want something. So they say, God. The one they talk about, I'll smack the piss out. And the one they talk about trapped in the book, that ain't God. That's what somebody wrote and said is God. That ain't God. That's a God that they made. That's one of the gods they made. But the most high, they trapped in the book. And I'm gonna say it again for the sake of the preachers. If Abraham, the character, had been introduced to the Most High, who would he serve? Who told him to leave if he could be introduced to the Most High? See how they switch it up and screw it up and then mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Y'all remember the incident with Melchizedek? Okay, if you are the standard, if you have to come out of the order of who's sovereign? And if you're in the presence of the standard, would it tell you the name? Well, the name he gave was Moses. So whatever name you interjected later, you put it in there for the sake of the story you tell it. You know, follow the narrative, you see what I'm saying. If anybody was going to use a specific name, that would have been the time. Because that's the one with no beginning, no end, and representative. Okay. You know, they need to look at what it means to come into the whole anyway. Everybody else, thank y'all so much. So glad we had this time together. We get ready. Love y'all. It's on the line with us. If anybody watch this thing from Kenya, keep praying. We're praying. Things will continue to go well. Salami, to greet everyone and let everyone know. Keep praying because he said he feels encouraged because he has some new faces. It's about showing up. So he is excited and encouraged. So let's keep praying that everything continue to go well and nothing will hinder the progress that they're experiencing. Having said that, let's get ready to adjourn. Thankful and grateful for yet another time to come together. Thankful and grateful for another opportunity for freedom of talk. May it continue to be an edifying force. May it continue to strengthen and encourage. Let others log in and watch the video and realize that they have the right to be able to express, they have the right to ask questions, they have the right to get an understanding. Let us continue to grow, let us continue to stay focused, even as we go forward to the remainder of this night. We are so grateful that we remain in the presence of the Most High. We're so grateful for the contribution and the input of everyone here and those that even on the line. We're grateful for our great and mighty ancestors. With joy and Holy Ghost on tonight, we appreciate everything said and done. Looking forward to the remainder of this night being uneventful and blessed. Shame.